Imagine two men, same age, same city, same income for most of their lives. One retires at 58 with enough money to never worry again. The other hits 55 and suddenly realizes for the first time that he might have to work until he physically can't anymore. What separates them isn't intelligence. It isn't luck. And it isn't even how much money they made. It's a handful of financial traps that one man walked straight into and the other somehow avoided. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men don't even know these traps exist until they're already inside them. Today, we're going to walk through the biggest financial traps men face in their 50s. The ones nobody puts on a list. The ones your father didn't warn you about because nobody warned him either. Here's what society tells men to do. Work hard in your 20s and 30s. Build your career. Take care of your family. Buy a house. Maybe save a little into a retirement account. And somewhere down the line, it'll all come together. It sounds reasonable, it sounds responsible even, but there's a massive gap between what sounds responsible and what actually builds wealth. And that gap tends to show up hard, somewhere around your 50s, because your 50s are the decade where everything converges at once. Your kids might be heading to college. Your parents might need financial help. Your body starts reminding you it's not 35 anymore. And suddenly the window to fix your financial life feels a lot smaller than it did 10 years ago. This is when the traps bite, not because men in their 50s made one giant mistake, but because of a series of small, invisible decisions made over decades that quietly compound in the wrong direction. Let's go through them one by one. Trap number 1, the lifestyle upgrade loop. There's a psychological phenomenon called hedonic adaptation. It basically means that humans get used to whatever they have very quickly and then want more. You get a raise. You upgrade your car. A few months later, the new car is just the car. So you upgrade the house, then the vacations, then the watches, and this loop on its own isn't necessarily dangerous when you're young and your income is growing. But here's what happens to a lot of men by their 50s. Their income is at its peak, higher than it's ever been. But so is their spending. They've been running this lifestyle upgrade loop for 25 years, and the spending has quietly grown to match, sometimes even exceed, every raise they ever got. So despite earning more money than they ever have, they feel like they have no room to save. The trap isn't that they spent money. The trap is that they never built what financial psychologists call a savings gap. A permanent difference between what you earn and what you spend, where savings come first, not last. If you close that gap every time your income rises, the money disappears. Every time. Trap number 2, the invisible debt anchor. Most people think of debt as the stuff you see on a credit card statement, but by their 50s, a lot of men are carrying what I call invisible debt anchors. Things that look like normal life expenses but are silently draining wealth month after month, year after year. The most common one? A house that's too big. When the kids were young, a large house made sense. Now the kids are gone, but the mortgage, the property taxes, the maintenance, the heating bills, all of it is still there, and it's anchoring that man to a monthly expense he no longer needs. Same thing with cars. 2 car payments on vehicles that sit in a driveway most of the day. These aren't extravagances. They're things that made complete sense at one point. But they became anchors when life changed. And the mistake is not adjusting when life changes. The trap is emotional attachment to a lifestyle built for a different season of life. Trap number 3, the peak earning illusion. Here's one that almost no one talks about. Men in their 50s are often at or near the highest income of their lives. And psychologically, this creates a dangerous illusion. The feeling that this level of income is permanent, that it'll keep flowing until they decide to retire. But the data tells a different story. Corporate restructuring, layoffs, health challenges, industry shifts, these things happen disproportionately to men in their 50s. And when income suddenly drops or disappears at 54, 57, the financial damage is often catastrophic. Because the lifestyle, the expenses, the debt, all of it was built on the assumption that the peak income would last. The psychology here is something called optimism bias. Our brains are wired to believe that bad things happen to other people, not to us. So we don't build a financial cushion against an income disruption that feels unthinkable, right up until it happens. The smart move? Treat your peak earning years like a sprint to the finish line, not a comfortable cruise. Maximize savings aggressively in this window because it might be shorter than you think. Trap number 4, the retirement account mirage. A lot of men look at their retirement account balance in their 50s and feel a quiet relief. I've got money in there, I'm going to be okay. But there are 2 things that retirement account balance doesn't show you. The first is taxes. In many retirement accounts, every dollar you withdraw in retirement gets taxed as income. That balance you're looking at? A significant portion of it belongs to the government. You just don't see that bill yet. The second is the withdrawal math. Financial planners often use something called the 4U rule, the idea that you can withdraw around 4% of your retirement balance each year without running out of money over a 30-year retirement. Do that math on your balance right now. If you have $300,000 saved, that's $12,000 a year. $1,000 a month for most men, that number is deeply uncomfortable to look at. Because the lifestyle they've built costs far more than that. The trap isn't having a retirement account. The trap is mistaking a number in an account for a retirement plan. Now, here's the deeper idea underneath all of these traps. Every single one of them has the same root cause. They're all the result of optimizing for how life feels right now, instead of building for how life needs to function later. The lifestyle upgrades felt good. The big house felt like success. The assumption that income would continue felt comfortable. The retirement account balance felt reassuring. These aren't failures of intelligence. They're failures of imagination, specifically the difficulty human beings have in truly feeling the reality of a future version of themselves. Psychologists call this future self-continuity. Research shows that when most people think about their future self, the 65-year-old version of who they are today, their brain actually treats that person more like a stranger than like themselves. And we don't sacrifice for strangers. We don't cut back on a vacation today for a stranger. We don't resist a car upgrade for a stranger. We don't aggressively build savings for a stranger, but that stranger is you. 20 years from now, that person has to live with every decision you make today. The men who avoid these traps aren't more disciplined or more financially sophisticated. They've just somehow internalized a stronger connection to their future self. They make decisions today as if they can feel the consequences waiting for them down the road. So what do you actually do with this? Whether you're in your 30s watching this as a warning, or you're already in your 50s and some of this hit uncomfortably close to home, here's the framework that matters. First, audit your anchors. Look at every major recurring expense in your life and ask honestly, does this still fit where my life actually is, or does it fit where my life used to be? A house, a car, a subscription, a lifestyle habit? If it's an anchor from a different season, it might be time to let it go. Second, build a savings gap and protect it like it's sacred. Every time your income goes up, save the difference before your lifestyle has a chance to claim it. This single habit, done consistently, is the foundation of every financial success story. Third, stress test your plan against income disruption. Ask yourself, if my income dropped by 50% tomorrow and stayed there for 2 years, what would break? Whatever the answer is, that's your most urgent financial priority to fix. And fourth, get specific about what retirement actually costs. Not in a vague, comfortable way. Sit down and actually calculate the monthly number. What does the life you want in retirement actually cost per month? Work backwards from that number. That's your target. Everything else is noise. There's an old idea in personal finance that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. But I'd add something to that. The worst time to plant a tree is when you're standing in the shade of someone else's, assuming it'll keep you cool forever. The men who end up financially free in their 60s and 70s are rarely the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who stopped optimizing for how things looked and started optimizing for how things would actually work. Your 50s aren't a wall, they're a window, a narrow one but a powerful one, because the decisions you make in this decade have compounding force behind them. The trap is thinking you have more time than you do. The opportunity is realizing you still have enough. If this made you think about your own financial picture differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper on building wealth at any age, stick around. We've got a lot more coming.